Let's start with a bad piece of news. 70% of managers lack essential communication skills. 70% of managers. But of course, they didn't come tonight because you are all well, doing very well. Brief intro about myself. I'm Leonardo Zangrando, three-time TEDx producer and coach to dozens of TEDx speakers who totaled over 600,000 views online and counting. So this is me at one event that I organized, TEDx Cows. We were very happy. And now you might ask yourself, wait a minute, this guy is Italian, obviously, as you can tell from my accent. How can an Italian coach someone to speak well in English? Well, let me tell you for the moment that I bring in the Italian advantage. The Italian advantage, and I will tell you what it is about. Now, more seriously, about the 70%. Countless pieces of research have shown consistently over time that that figure, 70%, is consistent over time. A recent piece of research by Hayes group showed that 73% of employees think that their managers lack communication skills. Another piece of research by the American Management Association showed that 68% of managers lack essential communication skills. So, communication skills are essential for employees' engagement. And yet another piece of research by Gallup, also very recent, 2023, showed that only 21% of employees think that that they feel engaged at work. So, communication skills for managers are essential on one side for employees' engagement. These are the stats and where they come from. But that's not all. It's not only employees' engagement. Because as a manager, clarity or lack of clarity affects your ability to communicate well and to tell and to let people understand what you want to tell them. Affects your authority. So lack of authority obviously affects your career growth or your ability to work with clients and partners. And lack of influence affects basically your ability to make things happen, which is what we are all trying to do as managers, entrepreneurs. We want to make things happen. So lack of influence basically brings us that we miss all opportunities to have an impact. And that is why I call my company Talk for Impact. But wouldn't it be good to take control? To take control of this lack of communication skills? Well, everybody can and should take control. Everybody can and should work on their own personal communication skills. Now, I want to tell you a story. I wanted to tell you completely different stories, but I tell you the story of how I prepared this talk for tonight. And the story is that as soon as I had the opportunity to be here in front of you, I jumped at it and I wanted to do it. And that was not long ago, let's say a couple of weeks ago. And at that moment I thought I would prepare a fantastic talk in the style of TED, like a TED talk, here just for you, and deliver it brilliantly. Now what really happened is that in these 2 weeks I had the time to prepare a script. Like all TED Talks, or most TED Talks are scripted. So word by word, the speaker learns what to say and how to say it so that it doesn't look like it's scripted. So I wanted to do that, but for a TEDx, you need, say, 10 to 15 weeks of preparation. I had less than 15 days. So obviously, I couldn't do it. But this allows me to give you a few insights about what it is preparing a talk and what hurdles you might find. The first thing is we as humans, when we think we have to deliver some speech or talk about something, we put a lot of time into writing the content. We want it to be perfect. And most of us think that when the content is perfect, then delivery will be super easy. So we don't spend much time in rehearsing. Now, reality, the actual importance of content versus delivery is the opposite. Content in itself is important, but it represents, someone says, as little as 8% of the total impact of a talk. The remaining part, so 92%, is about delivery. It's about how you use your voice, how you use your body language, how you use the space where you're in, that is the stage, if you are scared about being on stage, or if you occupy the space and deliver it in a much stronger way. So, time allotted is completely different from the actual importance of preparing a talk. So, in a way, I missed and I failed on this because I allotted too much time on writing, but I actually had that much time, not much more, and I didn't have the time to rehearse. That's why you're not hearing a TED talk, but just a guy presenting some slides, which is completely different. It's fine. Most people, for most of us, when we present as managers, leaders, we do use slides, and that's fine. If we want to be great on stage, we need to learn to do it without the slides. So that would be the next step of what I'm presenting today. Okay? So this is one part. The other part is I just implied that you need to memorize your talk. And this is what TEDx speakers do, or at least the good ones do. They know word by word what they're going to say in the next 15 minutes, 18 minutes, whatever the length of a TED talk. And it doesn't show because they memorize so well that you don't realize that it's rehearsed and memorized. In fact, someone says, if after memorizing it feels rehearsed, and people can tell it, you didn't rehearse enough. So you keep repeating and repeating. And this is something that I require my speakers, my TEDx speakers, to do. And it is really time-consuming and really heavy, a heavy burden, because people believe that they will never get to the other side where they are able to step on stage and deliver the talk that they know by heart as if it comes from the heart, not just from memory. But you can do it. So most speakers say, oh, look, I don't want to memorize because it will sound bad. I prefer to improvise because I know the gist of what I'm going to tell, and then it's just a matter of saying it. Well, it doesn't work like that. Because when you're on stage, and even if you wrote the full script of a talk, but you didn't memorize it, and you don't know it by heart, it's very easy to improvise on that and just go, okay, now I have to say this, blah, 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 let's say this, and make something that is strong, memorable, interesting for the audience, engaging. And again, to my speakers, I say, you can improvise on stage only if you know 10 times more of the things that you're saying on stage. So if you know the subject so well that you're just talking about a tiny part of it, in that case, you can improvise. But in any case, and this is the next insight, structure is essential. So even if you don't have the time or the inclination to write a full script and to memorize a full script, you need to give your talk structure. And what I mean by this is knowing how it will flow and what are you going to say after what are you going to say, and the next, possibly following some kind of pattern where you keep the attention high. But of course, we can talk about this in more detail one by one. Anyways, structure is essential. It's essential if you memorize because it makes it easier to remember, and if you improvise as well because you know what you're going to improvise in the next step. And structure is made of several parts that I mentioned already, or I implied already, but there are two parts that, again, most people never think of. And I see that if you do this, you can be a much better speaker just overnight, which is you structure by using one single message. There must be one single message that you bring forward with your talk. One single message, not 2 or 3 or 10. Many people think, oh, look, I have this opportunity to be on stage, so I'm going to talk about this, about my cat, about my granny, about London, about Manchester. No, because nothing will stick. Nothing will stick. Nothing of these will stick. There must be one thing, one most important thing. And for me today, my one single message is how important it is to be great at communicating on stage or in life for managers. This is my one single message for today. And you also want to have one single expected action. One single action that you expect your audience to take as a result of your talk, of your presentation, of your interaction. What I want them to do, not just to remember, but to do as a result of what I say. And why is that? Because we are, when we are talking to people, we are in an extremely valuable position to make things happen. And as managers and leaders, we want to make things happen, whatever it is. I want my employees to be happier at work, whatever. I want investors to believe in me and give me more leeway in what I do. Or I want my donors to donate more to my charity or to my cause, whatever. I want to achieve something. And this has to be very clear in my mind because it will inform and shape whatever I say to the audience and whatever I transmit and whatever is the essence of my talk. So for me, one single expected action is that I expect of you, but I hope that you will take as a result, is to think of what I'm saying and take action using these simple examples that I'm making right now, because you can really improve your ability to present on stage and presentations and in person, one-to-one interactions and so on, so much just by following these simple ideas and advice and pieces of advice. Now, I spoke about content and delivery. There is another important piece which integrates the two, which is mindset. And I put it below because it really supports everything else. Mindset is the reason why when I come on stage and I feel, oh my gosh, I'm talking to 50 people, they will judge me and whatnot. There is plenty of negative self-talk that we do and that affects our performance. And in fact, there are 3 things that we want to ask ourselves and sort out before we talk, which are, what do I think about the content? Do I believe in what I'm saying? Or I'm just like pretending? Second, what I think about myself, which is, oh, you know, I'm not bad at delivering on stage. No, never think of this. Because as soon as you think of it, you will make it happen. And 3, what does the audience think of me? Which is what I said before. What will they think of blah, blah, blah? And instead, the reason why the audience is there is because they are somehow interested in hearing what you have to tell them. And that is essential. We have always to remember, we as speakers have something valuable. We, whoever, I mean, not we as speakers, the speakers category. When we speak, we have something that we want to share with the other people. And this is something that we consider valuable. And this is something that we consider will help them in some way or form. So this is a positive thing, that there shouldn't be any fear around that. So we need to overcome this. And I could go on forever because there is plenty of things, but I go back to the Italian advantage. What is this Italian advantage? Well, an Italian coaching speakers to speak mostly in English. How does it work? Well, it works because I obviously don't do English lessons. I won't coach anyone on the right use of grammar unless they do something horrible, or the right use of words. Actually, I want people to use their own words, their own, be themselves, and their voice and their language should be theirs, not mine. So, besides of this, what I bring in is for native English speakers who speak to a foreign speaking audience, like to Italians, for example, I bring in a foreign ear. I will hear you, English mother tongue, as a non-English mother tongue would hear you. And I might help you shape your communication so that it's better understood by everybody. And vice versa for non-mother tongue speakers, typically in our case, Italians who have to address an English-speaking audience, same thing. I've been there, I am there, day after day. I am an Italian trying my best to speak in English and to present in English. I know what you feel, and I know the hurdles that you have to pass, and I can support you in being great communicators in a language that is not yours. Okay? Another couple of pushbacks that I get from speakers or potential speakers are, I don't want to have a speaker's coach help me because I don't want to create a copycat talk. A talk that is like cut with a cookie cutter so that it's always the same structure. And the truth is, this is not how I work. Actually, I want to help you bring out, take out. You see, I'm not an English speaker. I always do this. I want to help you take out the essence of the way you communicate, not the way I would communicate or anyone else. And the second pushback is, I don't have time. Most managers don't have time to spend on preparing the next talk and so on. And this is why I developed a format that I call the last minute clinic, where I work with someone who has a talk, say in a week time. They are already ready, but they feel it's not working well. And in just a couple of sessions, or 1 hour sessions, in the last week, we overhaul and redesign the way they deliver their talk presentation so that it really changes shape. And actually, you can find, I don't have the link here, I might share it with you if you want. I have a testimonial from a speaker, from a manager at Salesforce, the tech organization. Sally is her name, who I helped doing exactly this. And actually, she was ready to go on stage. She knew exactly what to say, but she felt she was not ready yet because the delivery was not powerful. In 2 sessions, we changed it completely, and her delivery was really powerful, and she got compliments from her colleagues and so on. So I can show you an interview that I had with her after this, where she explains what we did. And this is the last minute clinic. Another couple of ways I help speakers, just to let you know, is creating a personal signature speech, a speech that represents your way of thinking and that you can use and reuse in different occasions when you have to present about your profession, your business, and so on. Or for leaders and managers who want to improve their speaking ability over time, I offer ongoing development and support where we also work on last-minute situations where next week I have to deliver this talk. So we were also on the last minute. So it's like several last minute clinics along a development project. Now, I think that's all, apart from a little surprise, which is, in the past couple of years, I've been writing on public speaking, and recently I published a book, this book, which is this book here. And at the end of the talk, that is in a couple of minutes, I'll be happy to distribute it and give you a complimentary copy. It is by no means complete, but it is a good starting point for someone who wants to improve their communication skills on stage or in presentations and conversations. So we will set up a desk here, and you'll be able to get your copy. And finally, thank you. Thank you for listening. And I really look forward to seeing you all use public speaking as your secret weapon to achieve incredible results in business and in life. Thank you.